John chapter 2 verses 1 through 12. This, the first of his signs, Jesus did at Cana in Galilee. There was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the wedding. When the wine ran short, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, how does your concern affect me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servers, "Do whatever he tells you." Now there were 6 stone water jars there for Jewish ceremonial washings, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told them, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Draw some out now and take it to the head waiter." So they took it. And when the head waiter tasted the water that had become wine, without knowing where it came from, although the servers who had drawn the water knew, the head waiter called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves good wine first, and then when people have drunk freely, an inferior one, but you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this as the beginning of his signs at Cana in Galilee and so revealed his glory, and his disciples began to believe in him. O woman, St. Paul called Jesus the last Adam or the new Adam. And the tradition of the Church has always seen Mary as the new Eve. As Adam called Eve woman, we see Jesus call Mary woman. Eve ignored God's command, Mary accepts the will of God and tells the servants to do whatever he tells you. She demonstrated that we need to lay our troubles at the feet of Jesus and pray that with his help they may be resolved. The Gospel tells us that Jesus fulfilled her request. It is important to note that Mary's last words to the servants, which would include us, are verse 5, "Do whatever he tells you." We, God's servants, would do well to follow her advice. Notice also that she did not draw attention to herself but directed the servants to Jesus. Mary continues in that role. There are a number of church-approved Marian apparitions or appearances of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and the common thread of all the apparitions is to draw humanity closer to God, not to herself. God created the world and all that is in it in 6 days and rested on the 7th. Jesus also uses the first week of his public ministry as the beginning of a new covenant in the same way. Day 1:1, John introduces Jesus. He was in the beginning with God, all things were made through him. Day 2:129, Behold the Lamb of God. Day 3:135, Son of God, King of Israel. Day 4:143, the next day he found Philip. Day 7:2,1, on the 3rd day, after the 4th day, which would be the 7th day, of the new creation week, there was a wedding feast at Cana, a time to rest with friends. Throughout history, God has compared his old covenant to the marriage covenant. This explains why Christ described himself as the bridegroom in the Gospels and performed his first miracle at a wedding. The new covenant fulfills God's marital vow to his people. He has become one body with them in the Church. This covenant is renewed in each Eucharistic celebration, because we are joined intimately to his body. Verse 12 reads, "After this he went down to Capernaum, with his mother and his brethren and his disciples, and there they stayed for a few days." Some translations remove the word brethren and replace it with brothers, thus creating the confusion as to whether or not Jesus had biological brothers. Such a mistranslation has also brought into question the perpetual virginity of Mary, which has always been taught by the Church. It is well established that in the time of Jesus the word brethren meant a near relation, a cousin, a fellow countryman, a disciple or follower with no implied or stated reference as to masculinity. Some people wonder why God doesn't perform miracles anymore. I wonder why they can't see them. MelissaKNorris.com. For seen miracles just happen, silent prayers get answered, broken hearts become brand new, that's what faith can do. Cutlass.